this system of silat that's being shown, which is termed Pukulan Chimandi Pusaka, Pukulan means hitting, Chimandi is flowing water, and Pusaka is valuable and old. So the art hits with a flowing motion, and it's something that was passed on from generation to generation, so it is valuable and old. I would like to give thanks to all the great teachers and pendekkers who have contributed to my training in this art, which include, but are not limited to, Guru John Malter, Pendekker Eddie Joffrey, Pendekker Seawright, Mahaguru Arthur Remrev, and Pendekker Paul Détoires. Thank you very much for your interest in this Silat series, and I wish you the best of luck in your training. Selamat. Hi, I'm William Sanders. My title is Pendekker, and of Pukulan Chimandi Pusaka, which is a form of Pencak Silat. And in this tape of the fundamentals, I'm going to teach you the basics of the 18 jurus, or the beginning upper body movements of the system. Now, the jurus are very important because without the jurus, you do not have any base work of your system. There is no master key, so be very, very careful in practicing these and do these exactly the way I show you, and you'll be able to develop your system completely. Juru number 1 and Juru number 2 are what is considered male and female jurus of the system. 1 starts all the odd numbers, and 2 starts all the even numbers. So if you remember that, it'll help you when you're practicing the jurus. The basic position to start with, and we're going to do these from the right side. Keep in mind that you must practice them from the left side also, otherwise you become a one-sided fighter. However, because of length of tape involved, we're going to show you the techniques from the right side. Left is a mirror image. Your right foot is brought up in the semba, or the beginning position, directly over the left foot. The right hand is in a half fist, and the left is cupped right over top, elbows held in so you can look directly over your hands. The first 2 moves of the Juru number 1 are composed of what we call a stomping action with the feet in this manner. I'm going to go ahead and go through the Juru, and then I'll explain to you in detail what this is for. The foot movement, or the foot position, is then obtained by stepping out with your foot at a slight 30-degree angle to the left. Your body is tilted forward. The left hand rolls out and hits in what is called a close range or contact blow. Left is pivoted, brought back with the left thumb on your chest, cocking your right elbow in such a manner. The elbow is then brought forward, hitting straight forward this way. You're looking right over top of your arms. The right hand is brought over, which is called a buka. Set down, a straight punch, where the back leg is locked momentarily to give you an angle where your back and leg are angled straight into the ground, so the force goes straight towards the opponent. Hand is brought back in open, not closed. Then we have an exchange this way, which is a close-in parry. Set down, left punch, and back returns in a fist. It starts with a fist and ends with a fist. If you want to see it in a little bit more fluid manner, it looks something like this. That's Juru number 1. Now, although it appears like they're very basic movements, there is a lot of technique or meaning behind the movements. To give you an idea what it is, the foot stomping here is composed of destruction to the top of the feet. So when the person is actually approaching approach the close range, we have a lot of stomping techniques that work this way, so the foot is actually destroyed and pinned, so a kind of technique can be used, and the person, when he falls, will not be able to move or get away with his leg being trapped. So that's what the stomping action is. This first movement here, although it appears to be just simply a stance, is also something that can be utilized. We do not do anything that cannot be utilized. Now follow along with me as I do it from a side angle, also noticing that all jurus end on what I call the open side, or the side that the leg is back on. That's because this is a flanking attack pattern. Now look at it again from the side, and we'll do it slowly and break it down for you. Watch, tension on impact, and snap on every move. Very relaxed, tension only on impact, extremely important. Tense, perfectly relaxed. Now we'll show you the application involving another person. This position right here appears to be nothing more than a stance. However, if you were in a fighting application and produced this movement out of a particular move where you stop for just an instant and the person threw a punch in low to your stomach, this would be a blow with the knuckles here falling with the rest of the juru, or the rest of the techniques coming in. So it's actually a downward blow here, setting him up either for a fist or an elbow. From this position here, this move here is designed, if he blocks the punch, a traditional block, or it doesn't really matter. If he does a traditional block, a karate type block, and he blocks, this stops the block. The fist continues through the target. If he throws a blow with the other hand, and I do the same move, this eliminates it. I can hit with this hand, or I can recounter and hit with this hand. From this position, from this hit here, this movement here that you saw in the juru could be this. Here, elbow. From this in-close position, which you are now into the person, the long range is not applicable anymore. If he tries to throw a punch to my head with this hand, this is the block with the blow here that comes straight up his arm and into his face. If then he tries to throw one with the other hand, you have the same block that you did in the juru over here encompassing this. Juru number 1 is a destructive juru, and its basic philosophy is forward, in, and destruct and destroy what's hacking you. Okay, very good. Now let's look at it again from a little different angle. From the stance, he throws a punch into the lower midsection. I hit down, which opens him up to any follow-up that you want to throw. The second move could possibly be, after I move in and I start to throw this punch, he attempts to block the punch. So as I throw it and he blocks, I recounter his block or his hit and I hit him. If he throws with this hand over here, same thing, and I come straight up his arm and in with my counter. Once this punch is obtained and I hit, or even if I don't, and this hand is in position, then this move on the juru is this move here into the head. From that position, once I'm actually in close to him, if he tries to counter and throw a punch to my head with this hand, the buka comes in and the block comes down like this, going straight up his arm and into his face. If at this time he throws a blow with the other hand, we have this exchange, which is called, remember the double movement from the juru, and again a blow thrown in. Now it's showing you a little bit of speed. We'll have him throw the low punch and the right and the left, just to give you an idea of how the blocks work. When executing Juru 1 and all the Jurus, it's very important to keep in mind that there's a particular attitude that you have to develop in reference to the Juru. Now there's 3 basic attitudes. Juru number 1 illustrated at a fluid attitude, which is something like you normally saw, which would be just going through the motions, relatively fluid. Juru number 1 with a training attitude would be going very, very slowly and emphasizing snap on the blows. Juru number 1 with an aggressive attitude is an entirely different situation where you're keying your mind for full aggressive combat, and it's something that you have to be able to learn to turn off and on, and there's a particular way to do that. If you key your mentality in with a certain word that you should develop, and you can make this word anything you want, when you're doing the aggressive attitude, repeat the word to yourself, and then do the aggressive attitude. Use it at no other times. If you do this, eventually you'll be able to key in a very aggressive attitude during a fighting situation, and you won't have to walk around in this keyed up mode all the time, which would be harmful for you. So an aggressive mode to the Juru with full aggression looks something like this. And that would be your full aggressive attitude. Juru 2, remember, is an even number Juru, so it starts in a different position. The position for Juru number 2, foot position is the same, starts this way. 2 fingers of the left hand on top of the forearm, right arm parallel with the ground. The same stomping action is employed. Fist comes down, turns, hit up this way. The hand is brought underneath and opened up in a breaking motion here. Comes over top, hits down this way, flips around, punch, open hand, exchange exactly like Juru number 1 now. So follow along just like Juru number 1. Punch, and bring your hand back in a fist, because remember it begins with a fist and it ends with a fist. So to see it in somewhat of a fluid motion. Juru number 2. Practical application of Juru number 2. The practical application of Juru number 2 is stopping a kick that's coming in. Now, we don't generally parry kicks. We normally punch them, because the idea with the Silat systems is to destroy any oncoming weapon. So what you're doing here actually is simulating this first motion of a kick being brought in like a front snap kick to your extremity. So if I'm in a fighting stance and he brings a front snap kick to me, it's hammered down this way, straight into the shin or the top part of the foot to injure or damage the leg. Now, if he would produce a punch now, then this blow comes straight up underneath in the armpit or the soft muscular area of the arm to produce damage to the arm. So what you're actually doing here is hitting here, hitting up under the arm, and then the follow-up would be whatever you decided to produce after that. So if you had a quick kick and a punch combination, it would look something like this. And then follow up with whatever you're going to follow up with. From a different angle, the application looks like this. From a fighting stance, if the man throws a kick in with that leg, it's hammered straight down, and a punch to my face. Notice my face is open here. Very important. It's a decoy position. This blow is brought up, and also notice this hand is always here to check in case he redirects this hand back into my face. So a quick punch and a kick with this leg and that arm would look something like this. And a follow-up, whatever kind of follow-up that you wanted to use. A little faster application, if the man throws a kick with this leg and a punch with this hand, would look something like this. And then application to follow up whatever you wanted to do. Now this is Juru number 2. Follow along with me in review. Underneath. Breaking motion here. Hit. Punch. Keep in mind that the applications I'm showing you are only a very few possibilities, and you can develop more of them on your own. I'll show you a few more to give your mind something to work on. The blow that I used under his arm could also be used as a blow to the bladder or the groin area. If the person, once this blow was delivered, bent down because it brought their head forward, this snapping motion in here is a neck break. That's what this motion is for right here. This motion coming around this way here is a destruction on the fist or the arm in a slightly different manner. If the person throws a punch at me with this hand here, and I hit it this way, then I turn it around and destroy the top of his arm. That could be an application utilizing this motion. The motion that you saw developing this is a camouflage blow, because in Chimandi you do not want the person to know where the blow is coming from. So this type of a motion is usually done out of hand positions or hand rolls. So if you're rolling this way, the blow can come this way, or from here the blow can come back up this way. So if you noticed in Juru 2, you're rolling this way. So this hand camouflages the punch, and the punch is developed. Okay, this is Juru number 3. So like I explained to you, you do start with Juru number 1. So it's the same. Now right on the apogee of the last punch, your hand opens up. There's a revolving motion and what they call a sanksat or long-range hit. It's called long guard for long range. And this is the only Juru that the punch is not brought back in on. It's left out. Applications on this Juru are in grabbing, pulling, and undercut, undercut type of a hitting. Now I'll show you the Juru from this angle. Applications would be this way. If you had a man throwing a punch with this hand, the first movement off the last part of the Juru is actually a grab off the punch. Now when you're grabbing a person's punch, if you have a hand here and you try to grab this way, very likely you could miss because you don't have a base or anything to grab onto. So the best thing to do, the shoulder doesn't move. So you grab the shoulder and pull down into the arm to get the grab correct. So if he throws a punch with this hand, and I have a blow under here, I then grab this way, pull back, and the sanksat comes in for the blow. Now, in actual usage, if you didn't use the grab, the sanksat would be shortened. For instance, if I wanted to do the sanksat without the grab, he throws the punch with his hand, then the punch comes in this way. And it's just a very short punch. Now, another application could be a takedown with the same maneuver from like angular side. I'll show you Juru 3 application with a little bit more complexity to it. If he throws the punch with this hand, I come in this way, hitting the chest with the same type of a hammer blow, stepping, elbowing to the head, taking the man down, follow up. Notice the man is always pinned to the ground, and you follow him to the ground when he goes. You don't stand here and let him fall. One of the principles of Silat, follow the man to the ground, control him, knee blow to the ribs, punch to the head. Okay, I'll watch it again, and we'll do it with just a little bit more speed. So from this angle, the punch comes in over here, hit, takedown, punch. Juru number 4 starts your first inner gate Juru, or dalam, which is inner, and it's an inner elbow Juru. Now again, being that it's 4, it starts with Juru number 2. On the last punch, hand opens up, and you have what they call a rotor parry here. 1, 2, 3 movements. Pull your elbow back, but not beyond your back, even with the back of your body. Hit forward with an elbow. Now, if you see it from the side, you'll notice what I mean about the elbow. 1, 2, 3, here, not here, right here, elbow. Practical application would be, this first move is a rotor move. It's a very important parry. If the man throws a punch with this hand to my face, this is this way here, and you're moving in with an elbow. You cannot reach with an elbow. Never reach. It's a close range weapon. So what I'm saying is you can't do this. You have to somehow take care of this first. So again, the rotor would look like this. Now you shorten it up. You don't need all the 3 movements, but you do that in practice to give you an idea. And that would be your first inner gate or in close elbow Juru. Now look at it again from the other side so you get a better concept of what it looks like from the inside. He throws the punch with this hand here, elbow in. If you want to, you can produce 2 moves. So you're simulating some of the motion of the Juru. Again, like I said, it's impractical to sit here and try to get 3 parries off of it. You do that in practice just to get you the idea of doing this rotor motion. Everything stays in tight to the body in this system. Don't ever do this, and nothing comes outside. So it's tight and hit inside. Juru number 5 is also an elbow Juru. Again, it starts with Juru number 1. Same motion, exactly the same. 1, 2, 3, except this time come across your body and then upward. It works in conjunction with the last Juru. I'll show it to you from another angle before we get into the application. Drew number 5. Application, and the difference is, this time you do the rotor on this arm just as in previous Drew 4, but he now throws, because you're leaving yourself open in the decoy mode, the other hand. So you have to come around this way before you move in and come in with the elbow. On these elbow Drews, do it like you're combing your hair. Don't do this, don't make a fist. Keep it in tight to your body and very, very close. So again, from another angle, if he throws the successive 2 punches, this one and then this one, in this position, here, here, here. Before we get into Drew number 6, I want to expound a little bit on what your stance should actually be like. Even though you're seeing it with the Drews, this will give you a little bit better explanation. If you're doing your stance and you're not doing a Drew, to find your proper width of your feet, put your feet together, go 1, 2, 3, 4. It gives you a approximate distance of your body capabilities for what the stance should be. It's a approximately shoulder width stance. When you step out forwards, you step straight out with this foot, and then turn the foot about 30 degrees to the left, and the other foot bent in slightly. So, if you had 2 perpendicular lines drawn from both feet, at somewhere out there they would cross. That shows that your stance is correct, not straight out where the lines would never meet. All body blows or weapons are pointed towards the attacker, so you have both knees, both feet, both shins, both hands, and both elbows, and your head pointed towards your attacker. It's like shooting a gun. If you can't hit what you're not aiming at. So if I did this, I would be pointing most of my weaponry away instead of towards. This hand is held very lightly from a side angle on the left, or at the opposite, whichever side you're on, forearm. Not across, but very lightly on. This keeps check of this hand. If you did this or something else, you can lose this hand in a fight and not actually realize where it is and get hit. But if it's here, you always know where it is, and you actually, although appearing to be open, have a lot of counter blow possibilities in here to cover yourself up. And again, it's relating to the decoy aspect of Silat, which you'll see a little bit later on. Now with Drew number 6, we get into a Drew called ricochet hitting. And again, it starts with, since it's an even number Drew, number 2. Now, from the apogee of the punch, his hand comes back, forward, and back in again. From this angle. Drew number 6 is very unusual in that it teaches the principle of ricocheting off your own body back into the person, or off of their blows back into them as a target. So, if we have a man here, and we're doing the principles of Drew number 6, and I throw this punch at him, and he blocks it across his body with this arm, then the punch comes back here, and it's immediately thrown back into his body. Very basic concept. So you have this ricochet action. However, it can also work in a different manner, that if he throws this arm towards my head, and I hit, I can also use this momentum, or the opposite action that you get from every blow, to go back into his body from a different angle. So that's one of the things that's not real apparent, but it does teach that principle. Okay, you can see it from this angle over here. So the first thing we did is I threw a punch this way. He blocked it across his body here. It's brought back and hit this way. So I still have a check here. I still have an elbow here. And this hand is here in case I get a low attack this way. Shot back into his face. Or if he throws a punch with this hand and I hit, and I ricochet straight back into him again. Drew number 7 starts with number 1. And you drop into a V this way with these hands here. Punch, punch. From a different angle. Drew number 7 is designed to open a person up. It can be 2 simultaneous blocks, or it can be a rather sneaky block from the outside. So, if in an inner gate situation, if you have a person who throws a double punch, or even one punch, and you want to double guard yourself, punch with this hand would be this position here, heel palm, and this hand is also ready to deliver a second blow. One possibility. A possibility that's not very apparent is against kicks. Since Silat fights in a low stance, if you're in a low stance and you have a frontal kick aimed at this part of your anatomy, and the person throws this kick, then you have a double elbow blow here with parries and a counter follow-up. Another possibility is if he throws a punch with this hand and steps forward with this foot, and I decide to flank him instead of going into his inner gate, then I parry this way, and this turns into a pull situation where I'm pulling on him here. His natural reaction would be to pull back, and I sweep, follow up. Juru number 8, we're going to go over. Don't forget, Juru means upper body movement, so that's why you're seeing mostly moves from the waist up on these. And in Juru number 8, you have your first combination Juru, which takes two of the ones that you previously had and puts them together. And the main reason that we're doing this is to teach you to flow from one technique to the other. So number 8 starts with number 2. 6, 3, but this time pull it back because this is 8, not 3. 3 is the only one that stays out. From an angular. Juru number 3. So in a practical application, again, this time you would have the man throws a punch with this hand, you counter, and then he throws a punch with this hand, so you'd have to flow from one into the other. So if you're here, and I throw the punch and he parries it, I come back here, he throws this punch here, we pull in and hit. And of course from here, you can also sweep, especially if you get a man extended like that. All Indonesian martial arts always end with a sweep to put the man on the ground, even though we're not showing you that in all the Jurus. We'll get to that later. This is a basic principle of the system. Juru number 9 starts with Juru number 1. From here, your hand moves across this way, your fist pulls back, there's a sappu, or sweep with this left foot, or right foot actually, punch, ending the Juru. Now, this is an extremely important Juru because it teaches 2 parries, or blows, and a simultaneous sweep at the same time. So we'll see it from a different angle. What it's encompassing is, starting with the hand motions, if you have a punch coming directed to your face at this angle, you have 2 possible parries in here, one with the edge of your hand here, and one at the bottom of your fist this way. This cup parry is extremely painful, but when it's applied with the fist, pulling down the arm, you have like a double damage on the arm. So just with the parry itself, the man punches, you have this, it sort of pulls him down and allows you room to slide straight up his arm into his body. Now, being that it goes along this way and not this way or this way, is kind of a sneaky blow and a little harder to stop. In practical application, if he was leading with this leg and he threw this punch at the same time, what it would do, this sweep would off-balance him. So when he throws this, you have an off-balancing motion and it doesn't go down, then you have a blow to his head because he's puts him off balance. If he falls, you can't deliver this. So this whole idea of this one is, if your sweep misses here or doesn't actually put him down, you still pulled him off balance enough to deliver this blow to his head. If he falls, then you don't even need this. But it does teach you to double parry at the same time. So to give you a little idea with speed, at least on the parry, if he throws the punch, and that would be the movement off the parry. Now looking at it from this angle again, as far as the parry is concerned, if he is punching with this hand, you have a cup parry here, so he punches, the cup is here, the fist takes over, brings down. Now you might ask yourself, what if he throws a punch to the other hand? You're wide open. Really not. Just to show you, if he throws a punch to my head with this side, the arm comes up this way and the punch comes straight down in. So nothing is exactly as it appears in the system. Anyway, this pulls him down and this hits straight to the head. The sweep is produced at the same time, but really the punch is designed if you miss the sweep. So if his foot's standing here and I'm coming in and he throws this and I miss this sweep or he doesn't go down, it still pulls him off balance enough so that I can deliver this blow. If I would have swept him, he'd have fell down and I'd use a different follow-up. Juru number 10 is the first revolving Juru, which hits in 2 directions. So it's number 10. We start with 2. Hit back with an elbow, pivot on your heels, hit out with a spear point with the left hand, elbow at the back. Elbow, spear, pivot on the heels, elbow, turn, exchange, punch, exchange, punch. This one's a little bit longer. Principles, well, I'll show it to you from a different angle. Principles are hitting all around you for attackers, front and rear, especially at different ranges. The actual movement with the heels is to allow you to learn when you're in close to pivot on the heels of your feet and move, because if you do on the balls of your feet, you lose punching power. In close, you want to be rooted to the ground, so all your blows hit with the energy going straight down into the ground and into the floor. If you're up on the balls of your feet, your foot goes down first and you lose punching ability. So a practical application would actually be to start off with, unless you had more than one person to do this with. If you're doing it this way, after the last motion of the juru, you would actually turn, and if you had somebody coming right up on you, straight to your back, 1, he backs up from the blow. 2, he gets hit here. Now you simulate grabbing him and pulling him back in, hitting him this way. Okay, then you duplicate the same motion from the other side. And remember, all jurus end on the open side or the foot that's back, so you have to carry the motions through till you end on the back leg. Juru number 11 starts with number 1. From the last punch, this hand comes back, sweep back to the side this way, elbow forwards, continue. Very, very similar to a previous juru that you had, except this time the person is coming in you're hitting on the lead leg and not the back leg with your counter follow-up. So what this move is, I'll show you from the side angle and then we'll go over actual applications. You're doing a number of things here. Okay, this motion that you're doing here is a parry. It could be a parry on the arm. For instance, if he throws this punch here, you're doing this, you're pulling him back into you, you're coming straight forward with an elbow into the head. One possible application. The foot position being this way is a guard against any round or circular kick coming around this way. So if the man first throws a kick around this way, this is the block, and he throws the punch, this is the pull. He pulls down in, and he comes straight down into an elbow juru because he put himself in range for the elbow. If you see it from an opposite side, again breaking it down, this is the motion to protect yourself from being kicked because you can't drop your hands. You're too concerned with what's going on up here. So if you're in a stance and the kick comes around, or even at speed, this is the block for the kick. As the punch comes in, these are your blocks that I showed you before. You're pulling him down as this comes up and recoil straight into him. So he goes down, and obviously a follow-up would be encompassed at the same time. Juru number 12 is again a punching juru, punching against lower leg kicks. So let's start with number 2. From the opposite side. Juru number 12 is the destruction of a kick and the attack of a lower extremity with your hands. So, from the last position, we've gone through juru number 2, like you're used to doing. This first move, again, is a block to a kick that you're not sure if it's leg level or high, or it could be in the middle of your body. So you want to get it this way, so you make sure that it's blocked. So if you have like a round kick coming around in here, this way. Now from here, the kick is punched back down again, and you drive straight into the lower extremities with the punch. This is to the bladder area. The bladder is between the belly button and the groin. It's very soft in here, and there's no muscle in there compared to the abdomen section. So it's very, very soft. So that's your target for this blow. From this side over here, again, to cover you, protect yourself from a kick coming in at this angle and like an intermediate range. Kick here, drop it down, straight into the bladder area. Keep this hand right here to protect the side of your face. Juru number 13 is a very unusual juru. It's called spider grappling juru. It starts with number 1. There's no second punch in this juru. Right from here, from a different angle, Juru 13 teaches multi-angle hitting all the way around you, even though only 2 sides are developed in the juru itself. It's up to the student to figure out, normally, although I'm going to tell you now, that you can use this all the way around. So, in actuality, even though from this last punch you sort of take a very slight look back over your shoulder, it's a long-range hit this way, and then one this way. It could also be utilized this way, so that you're hitting all the way around you. Applications would be, after this first punch, he throws a right-hand punch to the top of my head, parry, hit, or if I was at a slightly different angle to him and he threw the same thing, this hand comes back and actually this slapping motion here is an actual parry up here in actual practice, but we're not doing that here. So this motion is what carries you all the way around. Juru 14 is called the buong juru. Starts with number 2. Now from here, you have double sweeping movements. 1, 2, and back. Different angle. Juru number 14 is a very useful juru to move in on a person. So when you're actually moving in, you're using these type of movements to cover yourself and parry all the way while you're moving in. So to see it in an application on a singular basis, if the man was to throw a punch with this hand at my head, here's one. Also, for that same motion, arm break, this way. So you're hitting this joint here, and at the same time pushing the arm to the side and coming in to hit it. You can either incorporate a joint break or just a blow. Now if he turns around and he throws the blow with the other hand, then it's taken the other way, and the same blow is used to come right back in on him again. So to see it from another angle, if the man throws a punch with his hand, you either have this motion, or here, the break and come in, then he throws that, and you come in here, followed by a sweep in actual use. Juru number 15 is the second combination juru after number 8 that incorporates more than one juru. It incorporates (14), 6, 3. From the other side. So you're now moving, parrying, ricochet hitting, and pulling and hitting at the same time. Now looking at the application of Juru 15, it's very similar to the one you did before. The man throws a punch with his hand, we buong it, hit him, we buong this one, we hit it, I throw a punch back in, he parries it away, I ricochet hit him, he comes back in with the other hand. We have this application with the sweep. Now looking at the other angle, he throws a punch with this hand, we buong in, hit, buong it in, I throw a punch at him with this hand, he parries it away, I hit him, he throws a punch with that hand, we pull in, hit, sweep, elbow to the back, which could be a possible follow-up. Juru number 16 starts with Juru number 2. At the apogee of the punch, turn your body slightly, double sweeping parries, hit, hit. Another angle. Application of Juru number 16 Obviously, they're low sweeping moves, primarily designed to catch, pin, and then immobilize kicks. So, if we have a man here, and he throws a kick to my face with this leg here, while I'm in my stance, this motion is produced. While I step in, this leg is put behind, he goes down, and I fall directly with him. Follow up. And it doesn't matter how high the kick is. If the kick is even higher, and I'm in a low position, we'll show you from another angle, and he throws the kick at my head. It's very difficult to do this with him because he wants to fall immediately. Actual fact, I was nice here. This is a blow here, followed by an elbow blow this way, which takes him down. You can see exactly where I'm falling in this groin area, which will end the fight right here, but we always follow up anyway. Juru number 17 starts with Juru number 1. From here, turn, hit low, spear point back out, finish. Now, what this does is it gives you the opportunity to fight two different people, but you're hitting high-low so they don't expect the blow coming in at a low angle when you're starting out relatively higher. So, if you have a person standing thusly, put this leg forward. Okay, and I'm in this position, and we'll assume that I'm fighting over here somehow. When I make my turn, I drop and destroy this knee. Now, if I have someone coming in from behind me on the other angle, and they assume that I'm down low, they'd be dropping down on my back. So I turn over and I hit high. So it's a high-low attack sequence. Juru number 18, the last Juru of the system, starts with number 2. On the last punch, pull back, hit, punch. Different angle. Pull back, hit, hit. Juru number 18 is a Juru that's designed to aid you if you're going to probably be hit anyway. There are certain times where you cannot avoid it. So we do an amount of body angling to take the majority of the force off the blow, at the same time trapping the blow. Now, a lot of times it's followed up, and like I told you before, most of the sequences in reality are followed by sweeps. So I'll show you a slow sweep here to give you an idea what the sweeps are. The practical application would come into being if, perchance, I'm going to get hit in the stomach and I can't avoid it. I angle my body at the same time, trapping this arm in here, coming forward, hitting with the heel palm. Now, everybody has a body meridian. If his body is straight up and down, it's impossible to sweep him. It cannot be done. But once the blow is delivered and his body starts to angle back, I can then come in with my back leg in Sapu, or an inside sweep. The person falls down, and if he falls away from me this way, you don't want to make the mistake of stepping over here and trying to deliver a blow. But from right here, you destroy everything in sequence as it was from the beginning to the end, the closest thing first. In conclusion to your Jurus, please keep in mind that you must practice them from the left and the right side. Some very important pointers to remember are: make sure that you only have tension on point of impact. Everything else should be completely fluid and tension-free. Reason being is, when you hit, you want full impact, but between point A and point B, if you launch the blow with full tension all the way, even though it appears to be powerful, if the blow is parried or deflected, it has nowhere to go except the direction it's being deflected in, just like an arrow released from a bow has no choice but to go the way the force is applied against it. But if there is no force there, when the parry comes, the blow can be instantly reverted to a different direction. Number one. Number two, you will not tire out as easily. If you're tense all the way through, you're going to be very tired a lot quicker. And energy is encompassed by speed times mass, not tension. So be fast and be smooth. Jurus must be practiced left and the right side, and they flow naturally from one Juru into the next. So follow along. I'm going to show you the first 4 Jurus in what is called walking a line, which teaches the fluidity from Juru to Juru and the ability to start moving from one Juru to the other. All the Jurus are actually done in this manner until you get very accomplished with them. Left and right side. So we'll just do first 4 to give you the concept. Now, come around this way. Same position, opposite hand. Now you're in this position, automatically the correct position for juror number 2. Now, juror number 3. Juror number 4. All 4 jurors walking the line. I hope you enjoyed this tape, and I'm sure that in the future tapes, if there's any unanswered questions, we'll definitely cover them then. Thank you very much.